Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr., they've announced that they'll fight one another for the undisputed welterweight crown July 29th in Las Vegas. We've been waiting years for this.
This is the fight of the decade.
So now, you know, he got to live up to his word and coming to take this belt. I assure you, it won't be like none of the other fights.
This being maybe the greatest fight in the welterweight division in the last 40 years.
Whoever believes in itself more that day, that's who's gonna win.
The great ones, the special ones, they can make it up as they do it.
The time has come for boxing to have one of its most anticipated fights of the last decade. Two of boxing's finest, each confident to have the right style to beat the other, will square up in the ring. A slick, cerebral boxer looking to solidify his place as the pound-for-pound best.
Crawford is one of the only guys that I can remember recently in this era of fighters that creates his own notes.
Going against a formidable power puncher, eager to show the world that he too has a claim for that same spot.
We've seen what Spence can do against the elite of the welterweight division.
It's Terrence "Bud" Crawford versus Errol Spence Jr. Boxing fans, let's get ready to rumble!
Yeah. Who you thought hit the hardest?
I would say Spence thumps harder than
Spence.
Crawford.
Who got the highest IQ?
Crawford.
Both men have called each other out publicly.
You know who I want. I've been calling him out all day. If Spence get his tail out his butt.
I want Terrence Crawford next. I'm going to get these straps. I'm going to go over there and take his shit too.
Despite that, the discussions between both parties never seem to materialize a fight.
Can I ask you, who is to blame for this fight not happening? Who do you blame?
Listen, I just blame, the business of boxing.
But now the cards are set for a clash.
Let's bet $1 million. You getting that money, right?
Easy. Let's bet $1 million easy. What are you talking about? There we go.
Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, two of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the fight game today, will meet on July 29th in a 4-belt unification bout.
Everything's signed. I've signed my part. I believe that he signed his part.
Still, man, what I've seen from Errol, I've seen Errol destroy people, man. And he's got that one-punch shot to him. Look at where he dropped Sean Porter.
The thing about Terrence Crawford, he's the type of guy that don't give up,
This is the most anticipated bout in the welterweight division, ever since Mayweather fought Pacquiao in 2015.
And still undefeated, Floyd Mayweather.
Two of the less active champions. Both men's last fights have been in the welterweight division, with Terrence moving up in 2018 after unifying the junior welterweight titles against Julius Ndongo.
All right, and now everybody wants to know what's next.
Well, I'm going fishing next.
And everybody knew welterweight was next. After battering Jeff Horn, Crawford was crowned the WBO welterweight champion. Fighting better and better competition, he showed that his power carried on to the higher weight limit, dispatching a his opponents before the final bell.
Oh, it was a Volkswagen against a Ferrari, and the guy driving the Volkswagen was a bad driver.
In his most recent outing, Bud defeated David Hovhannisyan in emphatic fashion. Throughout the fight, it was evident that Hovhannisyan was not in the same caliber, and a right hand in the 6th had the Armenian down and out. The fight before that, though, was much more competitive. Enter Sean Porter.
Boxing where Terrence Crawford prepping for arguably the biggest fight of his career.
My legacy depends on this fight because, as I told you, I've been at the top. Now the test is coming, and we'll see what happens.
To y'all, you know what you're gonna be up against. We're gonna get the fans a great night of boxing. It's gonna be fireworks.
An aggressive pressure fighter, Porter was able to press the action in the opening and middle rounds. often catching Crawford in their exchanges. The Cleveland boxer's speed and relentless pursuit had Terence unable to land a meaningful counter and deter his opponents in the beginning. Sean was landing to the body and the head in the close range. But as the fight progressed further, Terence showed his boxing IQ and was able to download the information he needed to start landing his counter shots on the right spots. By that time, Kenny Porter had thrown in the towel to save his son from further damage.
Kenny's on the apron, and he's stopping the fight. His father says it's over.
A lot of the boxing world would say that Errol fought an even better version of Porter that was able to last the distance in a thrilling clash of two aggressive fighters. That resulted in one of the most exciting welterweight fights, perhaps in history. Sean had more success in the first half of the fight, as he managed to force Spence to exchange in the close distance, landing multiple hooks and overhands and edging out most of the rounds. But in typical Errol Spence Jr. fashion, as the fight was progressing, he was getting better and better, reading his opponent's attacks. He began to catch Porter on his way in, landing powerful counter shots and evading the flurries and exchanges. In round 11, Spence landed a vicious left hook, scoring a knockdown which ultimately won him the fight, earning him a split decision victory.
He is now the WBC and the IBF welterweight unified champion of the world, Errol Spence Jr.
Errol Spence Jr. victorious in a split decision.
In the fight post interview, Danny Garcia entered the ring and the two men agreed to a fight for the championship belts.
There's a man standing here to our right, former two-division champion, Danny Garcia in the house. This will be your next opponent. What do you think of that, Errol Spence?
Might have tables turned. You line him up, I'm gonna knock him down. He's the top dog, and I want the top spot. I want you next, baby. Let's get it on.
However, shortly after his fight with Sean, Errol suffered a car accident that will have him out of the ring for more than a year.
Something happened, I had stopped, and then it just flipped. It just flipped over, and then I got ejected from the car. You know, the rest of history, I woke up in the hospital. I think Angel with me because I didn't break any bones, no fractures, no anything. I mean, I should have lost my life that night.
Driver in that crash is Errol Spence Jr.
Pedal to the metal, return fire rays, black smoke blooms as the back tire spins. I don't look back through the crack in the glass where the bodies.
The boxing community was shocked and prayed for the recovery of the American boxing superstar. Thankfully, Spence had made a full recovery.
I'm feeling good. I spent a lot of time with my family, my friends, and my little girl that want to fight Danny Garcia.
The bout was scheduled to take place on the 21st of November, but was postponed and happened on the 5th of December 2020. Garcia was ranked as the number 2 boxer by the WBC at the time. It started out competitive, with Errol pushing the action.
I really feel it's my time, think it's my pen ready. Used to hold myself back, my self-esteem damn bad. Gotta keep on chugging, ran through everything.
Danny was also catching him with some counter shots on the way in. But the latter half of the fight was all Spence, as he managed to establish his jab and keep the pressure going. In the final rounds, it was evident that the truth was the bigger and stronger fighter, as he put on a beating that had his opponent in deep trouble. He won his comeback fight via unanimous decision. The post-fight interview was once again the setup for his next match, as Manny Pacquiao entered the ring and the duo agreed to a fight.
Manny, you're being requested here, center of the ring.
He been here before, he done broke records here before, he's a legend of the sport, and it'd be my honor to fight him next.
Is that the fight you want next, Manny?
Yeah, why not? I mean, we'll give the fans a good fight.
The stage was set for a fight with the living legend on August 21st in Las Vegas.
Why take such a dangerous fight?
Because boxing is my passion and I want a real fight.
However, 11 days before the bout, Spence announced that he had suffered a retinal injury and had to withdraw. The bout was a competitive affair with both fighters having success throughout, Ugas, however, was more accurate, which gave him the unanimous decision victory, with the reigning WBC and IBF welterweight champion Yordenis Ugas taking his place.
Now the plan is to unify the title in welterweight. Everybody said that he was the champion. Now they know who the real champion is.
So does that mean Errol Spence?
He's the next one on the list that I want to fight, but most of all, I am praying that he recuperates.
The bout was officially announced on the 8th of February 2022 and was scheduled for the 16th of April on Showtime pay-per-view.
And the winner is just one belt away from becoming the undisputed and the first undisputed welterweight champion of the world in this 4-belt era.
To this date, this is probably one of, if not the best Errol Spence performances. Ugas was the more passive boxer from the get-go, allowing the Texan to set up his stiff jab and work the body from there. Yordenis had his moments in the 3rd and 4th, landing some crisp counters, but they didn't faze Errol and he kept digging to the body. In the 6th, however, the Colombian landed a vicious right uppercut that had Errol spit his gum shield. Dazed and confused, Spence froze and allowed Ugas to land a powerful 1-2 that sent him flying to the ropes, which left him shocked and hurt. However, he made a quick recovery and came back swinging. The assault continued on until round 10, and as Ugas' eye was almost completely shut, the doctor called a stop to the contest.
And this one is over! Errol Spence Jr. has stopped Yordenis Ugas!
The stage was set for a Terence Crawford showdown that would crown the undisputed welterweight champion of the world.
I like to go fishing.
He's not catching me with no fishing pole,
Hey, listen,
man.
I got a big enough hook for him. Matter of fact, we already caught him. We just reeling him in right now. And July 29th, that's when we're going to get him to the bank. Probably weigh him, you know, put him on a scale, chop his head off, take the little knife.
It don't even sound good.
I bet your pops like fish too. You like fish, don't you, pops? Come on, you can say you like fish. You know what I mean? Your son the big fish, so he love fish too.
You know we Jamaican, man. We smoke bud.
Hey.
You already know how that go. It's legal in Vegas too, so we gonna smoke your ass up.
Holy shit. Man, let me try that.
We gonna roll you up and smoke you up too, man.
This ain't the bud that you just can buy on the streets.
Ow, shit. Man, I must not be high enough, man.
It's that marinated bud that hit one puff, you might be seeing stars like how high.
Each fighter has a perfect record, with Crawford coming in 39-0 with 13 knockouts, and Errol Spence at 28-0 with 22 knockouts of his own. And while Spence is 1.5 inches taller, but is going to enjoy a 2-inch reach advantage, both men fight out of the southpaw stance. But it is the Omaha-bred boxer who has shown more versatility here, as he is able to fight just as well as an orthodox fighter, often switching back and forth during the fight. In his bout with Amir Khan, he was able to score a beautiful right-hand counter, followed by a signature lead hook out of the orthodox stance in the first round, only to switch to a southpaw later and deliver a beating that had Khan refusing to continue in the 6th. He does that not just to confuse his opponents, but to also solve a puzzle and change his tactics when the fight is not going his way.
Crawford right now, he's calculating the speed, the distance.
In his fight with Kell Brook, Crawford started orthodox again, but the Brit's snappy jab proved to be a problem in the opening rounds. A change of stance in the latter half of round 2 negated the jab advantage, and Terence was able to land a masterful counterhook in the 4th that spelled the beginning of the end. Errol had a very different fight with Brook, and throughout the first half he was getting thoroughly outboxed. It looked like Special K was just too fast and explosive for the truth. However, the American's grit, determination, and well-picked body shots weathered the storm, with the fight taking a turn in the middle rounds. Spence kept pressing and delivering power punches in his own fashion that wore Brook down and had him holding for dear life in the 9th and 10th rounds. The damage done to Kell's left eye sealed the deal in the 11th, as he was unable to see out of it and continue the bout.
Golovkin the eye against Errol Spence, but he's gone down on one knee. He can hardly see out of it. Up and continue. I think he's going to sit it out.
While it looked like Errol might have been in trouble in that fight, he has shown time and time again that his spirit and heart are not for debate. A relentless and powerful puncher, Spence is one of those boxers that goes to the body as much as he goes to the head. And while Terence is certainly the more technical boxer, he hasn't faced somebody that's willing to target his body and push the pace quite like Errol can. Crawford might just be able to avoid the corners and keep the distance, look for openings and deliver his signature counters. But when pressed and challenged, he has the tendency to become reckless for periods of time, allowing the less talented opposition to land powerful punches in big, chaotic exchanges. It was Gamboa who was nearly able to drop him in a similar situation. Gamboa himself targeted the body of Terence in the opening rounds, which opened Crawford up for some heavy shots to the head. But during the course of the fight, he slowed down, and despite catching Buddy in the later rounds, Terence was able to quickly recover and take advantage of his worn-out adversary, finishing the fight in a lethal way.
Goals and the goal that I'm sitting on. All I hear is low balling digits if I listen to 'em. No need to counter if it's disrespect. Swam with shots on how to bite my way out fishing nets.
Of round number 9, the winner by knockout victory, Terence
Errol is no Gamboa. He would not tire, and as the fight progresses, he would only gain momentum, as he often does, destroying his opponents in the later rounds. Spence would look to set up his powerful stiff jab in the opening rounds, as historically Crawford has been a slow starter. He would cut off the ring and look for the body, in a way that no other opponent of the Omaha talent has. It would be hard for Bud to land one of his signature counters, because he won't have the space to do so. It is exactly here where Terrence's experience as a high school wrestler may come in handy, as he has to be able to clinch when he's feeling smothered and avoid Errol clinches when he wants to land shots of his own.
But Porter right here, seeing how strong Terence is, he's showing them.
As long as he stays composed and focused, he has all the tools to win the fight and land his shots. He may very likely opt in to fight as an orthodox in order to negate the jab. Opposing guards also open up more opportunities for hard counters. An overextension of the truth could open up the road for a signature lead hook. But if he gets going, this could spell trouble for the former lightweight champion. Terrence's best strategy would be to look for long and mid-range shots as he moves out the way and avoids exchanges in the closer range. Spence would not be easy to put down with one shot, as neither of his 28 opponents so far have managed to do it, even though heavy shots have been landed on him in the past. But the same could be said for Bud. For the rare times he has been hit clean, he always manages to recover quickly and not go down. As the rounds go on, Spence will look to wear him down, and if that doesn't work, Crawford will become more dangerous with each passing second, as he downloads the information he needs. Ultimately, Crawford is the better boxer and has all the tools to win this fight, but he can be his own worst enemy. If he allows Errol to land to the body and force exchanges, he will be no match for the bigger, stronger man. And as the boxing world is awaiting for an undisputed king to be crowned, the time is ticking and we are holding our breath, hoping that both fighters finish their camps healthy and ready for one of the most anticipated fights in recent history. It is possible that you have a different opinion for the fight from us, but we can't help but ask, who do you have winning this fight? Thank you for watching. If you like this video and want to see more, we would appreciate your support. A like and subscribe will go a long way and will show us that you like this type of content. This in turn will motivate us to do more of it.